Sometimes you're going to be asked if a relation is a function or not. So, a relation is a function when the x value does not repeat. So when you're given a list of ordered pairs, whether it's in squiggly brackets or it's in a table or it's just a list of ordered pairs, the only way it can be a function is if the x value does not repeat. So for example, if in your packet you turn to page 46, number 1 wants to know which relation is not a function. Alright, so in order to be a function, the x value must not repeat. So what we're looking for here is which one of these has an x value that does repeat. If I take a look at option A, I have an x value of 2, 3, -1, and 0. So that is a function, so that's not my answer. In B, I have an x value of -3, an x value of 4, an x value of -2, and an x value of -9. Therefore, it is a function, so that's not my answer. Now, if you take a look at B, they're going to try and trick you because they're going to have a y value repeating. My 8 repeats. That is totally fine. Y is allowed to repeat. It's your x value that cannot. In C, I have an x value of 1, 5, -1, and -2. So that is a function and cannot be my answer. So that means that D better be the one that's not a function. Well, let's take a look. I have an x value of 1, of 8, of -1, and of 8. Uh-oh. Well, there's a problem. I cannot have an x value repeating. 8 repeats, so that means D is not a function, so D would be my answer. Since a relation is a function when the x value does not repeat, what that means I have to do if I'm looking at something graphically, what we have to do is we have to do the vertical line test. In order to be a function, a graph must pass the vertical line test. Alright, so if you turn to page 46 and look at number 3, it wants to know which of the following graphs is not a function. Alright, so in order for a graph to be a function, it must pass the vertical line test. But we're looking for the one that does not pass the vertical line test because it's asking for which of the following is not a function. So that means I'm going to draw vertical lines on all of my graphs. In order to pass the vertical line test, every part of your graph can only hit each vertical line one time. So if we look at option A and I draw vertical lines in here, I notice that on every single vertical line, some part of that oval shape is hitting my vertical line more than once. I'm hitting it here, and I'm also hitting it here. So this fails the vertical line test, so it is not a function, so that would be my answer. Let's just go ahead and do the vertical line test for the other ones just so you can remember how to do this. So for option B, vertical lines all over my graph. Everywhere I go, what has been graphed only hits every vertical line one time. Same thing if I go down to option D. My vertical lines only intersect that graph one time. Same thing on my parabola on C. Every time I draw a vertical line, every vertical line is hitting that parabola one time and one time only.